All right, we are live. We are live. What is going on, everybody? Very happy Jaxson Dart NFL debut Sunday to all. Very happy Victory Sunday and Victory Monday to all. I'm talking to my Giants fans, obviously. Um,
And even to Stacy.
Even to Stacy, I guess even to you too. Whatever. Oh no, wait, you guys played today. Yeah, you won. You beat the Saints. Who will be the next to fall on the sword of Jaxson Dart, by the way. But that's a topic for another day. I'm sorry for the glare. I can't do anything about it. My camera is in a different spot today, so it kind of is what it is. But, Schwinn, let's commentate on this last drive for the Packers Cowboys game, and then we'll talk about some Giants stuff.
I don't know if I've seen worse. Like, I just feel like all the secondary play in this game has been terrible. Like, I don't really know how else to put it other than that. Especially in the second half. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't know if you saw. Did you see the Packers' last touchdown? Like, you're giving up.
The Dobbs, the Dobbs number 3.
You're giving up. So you're playing. Like, you're basically giving up inside leverage without safety help on 3rd and 9. Like, I don't totally get that. Like, that's the throw that
Easiest read you can give up in that situation. The easiest read.
I don't get that. I don't understand playing off of Pickens on this last play. Like, I don't know. None of it really makes sense to me. I'm an idiot when it comes to most things, but especially when it comes to football. The Cowboys losing this game with 28 seconds left now would still not surprise me at all. I don't know. Like, I'm just all I will say is that I think my main takeaway from this game is that I'm still very high on the Packers.
But they have shit to figure out.
There's I didn't really ever buy the like this defense is generational stuff that was coming out after the first 3 weeks, like and I get that like they played really great for like the first half of this game, really. But I don't know. I just don't I don't really see that. I think that if your boundary corners are as weak as their boundary corners are, there's always there's always going to be weakness there to exploit, and that doesn't mean you can't win a Super Bowl. Doesn't mean you can't be a contender, but it does mean like let's pump the brakes on again like generational defense type shit that we were kind of hearing for the first 3 weeks.
It's also part of the thing of sorry, I'm moving over.
I'm sorry. I was saying like do people understand what the word generational means? Like nobody understands what this fucking word means anymore. Generational means like within once every 20 fucking years level shit. Like a generational defense. A generational defense is like that championship Seahawks defense, like the 2000 Ravens. The 2000 Ravens. Even I wouldn't even say that Broncos team was necessarily a generational defense. They did go on a generational run though, and Von Miller himself was generational that year. Yeah. He was but like that's what that means. Like it means like a thing that we point to, and we're like, this is the thing that we hold everything else up against.
Standard. It's the standard.
Yeah. It's the standard. And I'm sorry, like. I think it's fucking nonsense that this Packers defense is ever being portrayed as such. Like, no, like you're not generational. You're a good defense, a very good defense with a lot of talent. But generational means something, and generational has to be proved. Like it has to be proved, and you don't prove that 3 weeks into a season. Like that's just not how it works. Like you don't, it's not like you know what was generational. The Knicks offense in December. And then what happened? Like,
Tibbs.
This is like, yeah, but it's like, this is the shit. Like, this is generational means something. Words mean things. And if we're going to start throwing them around, it should be held to something. I know that in 2025 in America, words actually don't mean anything. But on this podcast.
No, they mean the opposite. They mean the words mean the opposite.
Yeah. Yeah, as long as I want them to mean something on this podcast, they'll mean something. But when I don't want them to mean things, Don't worry about it. We're good.
I want to know why the Packers have 2 timeouts in their pocket right now. When like, dude, they didn't take one shot over the middle. Where they could have easily picked up like a chunk and then stopped the clock. Instead, they save it for a fucking 3rd-and-1 run, which is great from Matt LaFleur. Great job from him. He like I love Matt LaFleur, but he has these games like this one that we're watching and the one from last week, which is more so Jordan Love last week. But a game like this where you put up 34 and you have such a talent advantage, even though we were just talking about the Green Bay defense and like they're not generational, whatever. They're still very, very good, and they should be out talenting this Dallas.
Oh yeah. They're really talented. Yeah.
Like
They're
this is
very,
a game
very
that
talented. There's no
like this is a bad loss. This is a flat out bad loss. If it happens.
If they lose.
Yeah.
If they lose.
They're in field goal range already.
Let's not put it past the Cowboys here. Well, unfortunately, they don't have Brandon Hitler as their kicker. So
Brandon fucking Hitler, bro.
Can't say it's a layup.
Brandon fucking Brandon Pott, dude. Brandon Pott.
I will say this, like, I think it's like been very fun. And this will not stop. It's been very fun to dunk on Jerry Jones. It's been very fun to dunk on the Cowboys. A couple things need to be said. Dak Prescott, whatever your reservations are about him, as far as where he stacks up and all that type of stuff, like, I don't think anybody can really deny the guy is a very, very good, if not flat out elite, regular season quarterback. And I think this game that you're seeing from him, like, this is all the proof you need. The other thing I will say is, like, look, again, very, very fun to dunk on Jerry Jones. Like, maybe the most fun thing in the entire world is dunking on Jerry Jones. But like, he actually is like kind of pretty okay with head coach hires. Like, I mean, his like the last like flat out bad head coach hire you could put on him is probably like Dave Campo, which, I mean, you probably weren't even fucking alive for that.
No, it is.
But like after that, it's like, it's Wade Phillips.
As far as I know, as far back as I remember watching the NFL, he's never had a Jim Tom Sula with the Niners. He's never had the fucking.
I'm not saying he's hiring, fucking like Greg Popovich every time, but he's not hiring.
No. But these are competent head coaches who they've been in a dogfight with Philly. They're in a dogfight right now with Green Bay.
Just tied it up at the end of regulation here. So. We get extra football, just like we all wanted.
Is that sarcasm in your voice, dude?
This is hour 15 of football today, by the way.
What's better than that? I mean, to be fair, like that Steelers-Vikings game, I didn't watch it, but I watched the YouTube highlights, and it looked like a fun game. So,
we got 6 more. We got at least 6 more tomorrow.
What time it starts at? 7 p.m. tomorrow?
Yeah, 7, and then we get the satanic 10 p.m. kickoff.
Dude, I'm not even gonna watch that. It is what it is. No, not this time. Not this time, because I have stuff to do on Tuesday, but I will be watching the YouTube highlights on my way Tuesday morning, wherever I'm going. So that will be fun.
And wherever we're going, thank you to our sponsor, FanDuel. Thank you to FanDuel.
Yes.
Congrats to FanDuel.
Congrats to FanDuel. Congrats on sponsoring the podcast, FanDuel.
Thank you, FanDuel, for sponsoring our podcast.
We love you, FanDuel. We are taking Packers money line right now. That's what we're taking. Actually, now that we bring it up, do you have like an overtime philosophy on like betting these games? Do you just go underdog?
Well, my philosophy on this game, which we'll see if it pays out, has just been like the last 2 times the Packers have fallen down was just taking them to win. So, well, I'm not sure I'm going to go in here for a 3rd time the charm, but I I don't know. I think like I don't know. The overtime thing is pretty interesting now because it's like you get a chance to respond now, right? Basically, no matter what. Um, I don't know. I don't really have a philosophy for it. The philosophy, if anything, I've been trying to like do lately is, um, like I think the original game spreads, right? So like what you get before kickoff,
Yeah.
those generally tend to be pretty correct. Like
Mhm.
they generally like they're within like a point or 2 points or whatever they are. I think if you get an opportunity to get like to buy extremely high on one side, it's one to do. Like I went pretty heavy on the Bucks today at halftime because I was just like, this is a 3.5 point spread. Like they're not, and they're not like one of those touchdowns is the block punt, right? So it's like okay,
Yeah.
so let's pretend that didn't exist. It's 17-6 at halftime. You probably feel a lot better about 17-6 than 24-6. So I was just like, so I've been trying to like kind of go with that, but that's not look. Anybody that tells you they figured out NFL betting is a fucking liar.
You're a liar, bro. You're
They're a
a
fucking
liar.
liar. Like I like last week, we got on here and we told you exactly why fucking Rams were a great bet against Eagles. Fucking phenomenal bet against Eagles. And for basically like 2.5 quarters, we were fucking like absolute like we nailed all of it.
Knocking it out the fucking park.
Yeah,
Out the
like
park.
absolutely nailed all of it. And then the Eagles did this great thing where they were like, what if we throw the ball to AJ Brown? What if we do that? Like, what if that's a thing that we do nowadays? And it worked out great for them, and it fucking worked out terribly for us because Jordan Davis is apparently the most athletic fucking 330 pounder in the entire world.
What the fuck? That's literally, if you don't know like what the reference is there. The next gen stats on his kick return for a touchdown as time expired, which by like, what a fucking fiend to return that. What a greedy fuck. So
he's an amazing player. I mean, it's Howie Roseman. Unfortunately, he does it every time. Every time you think it's over, he's like, yeah, actually, I'm going to trade Carson Wentz for a fucking day one pick. Here we go. Like, I got it done.
I'm gonna trade. Who was it for the Saints pick?
Wait, no, wasn't the Wentz pick the fucking? That was the Jalen Carter pick, wasn't it?
So that tree goes. I think it might have been Jalen Carter. No, sorry. Wentz became a first, which I think was pick 12, which was over to the Eagles. And then the Eagles traded down in the first round for the Saints first that season and a first next year. And then that
was the Olave trade, right?
Yes. And that became Jalen Carter. So Carson Wentz might have got them Jalen Carter plus.
Speaking of Olave, we might have some thoughts on that on this podcast.
Yes, correct. Did I talk to you about that?
You mentioned it in the great Strickly.
Yes, the great.
But actually, it's funny. It's funny that you said that because last night I was hanging out as sometimes I do with friends, and sometimes those friends are Jets fans, and they were like, yeah, we should trade for Olave, get him and Garrett Wilson back, like, and I'm like, in my head, I was like, I think somebody should trade for Olave. Somebody should trade for Olave. I don't think it should be you. I think that's like a very wrong, like,
especially
like
in year one of there.
Like really wrong use of your resources. Not because Olave wouldn't help you, but more it's like, are you an Olave? Like, what are you an Olave away from? The fucking like 17th pick or something? like you're maybe sniffing the wild. I don't know. I don't get any of that. Jordan Love is really like interesting to me. He's like obviously a very good quarterback, but he's also like very, very prone to making cripplingly stupid mistakes. And I find that interesting because I watched Josh Allen. And Josh Allen for like the first 4 years.
And you fillet Josh Allen. Respected.
Right, but I and it's like it's just like I don't think Jordan Love is that like he's not good enough to me anyway
Oh my
to
god,
live
that's
with to
guys.
live with the volume of mistakes he makes. I think that's probably the best way to put it. Like I don't I'm you know, I'm not saying like the Packers should fucking trade him or something like that. But I do think there is I think it's fair to be like he deserves a lot more like criticism and analysis straight up than he gets. Like I feel like he, you know, the first 3 weeks. I remember watching like the first 2 weeks of the season. There's a lot of like you know just endless like oh the Packers are great, the Packers are great, and they are like they were great in those first 2 weeks. But I was like they're like you know what is there to really say? And I'm like I don't know man. I watched those first 2 weeks and I'm like I still feel like I'm watching Jordan Love do a lot of backpedaling, a lot of you know off his back foot throws, lobbing it up deep, and that shit is fine when you're up and it's fine when things are rolling. But like at some point you have to, I think as a quarterback, show the ability to not just backpedal away from pressure, but also like to step into pressure and deliver. Wow. What
Wait,
a fucking catch.
I'm like 3 seconds behind you.
Oh my god.
Who's this? Oh, is
That
that Tolbert making that catch? What?
Oh, that's I think he's in. He's in. He's in. That's a phenomenal catch. Yeah, he's in.
Holy shit! Was his left foot not a little bit
No,
out of bounds over there?
no, it's in. It's in. He's in. He's in.
Wow! Oh my god!
Touchdown doesn't win this, right? Does touchdown win it?
Not anymore.
Right? So they still get a shot. They still get a chance here.
Yeah.
No matter what. I have a question for you. If you're the Cowboys, if I'm the Cowboys, I go for 2.
Yeah. I would go for 2. But the thing is, you have to. I feel like you have to weigh your defense into this because if let's say we're going against the Ravens, right? Who obviously one of the worst defenses in the league so far. If you're going
the great
for 2
Kyle Hamilton.
yes, the great Kyle Hamilton and the venerable Roquan Smith.
Dude, he honestly, it's so over for that guy, man.
That he got paid a couple times. He'll call his.
No, his life is great.
Yeah, his life is great.
Yeah,
his football is not great. But I think a lot of it takes defense into account. Like the Cowboys' defensive. I mean, you wouldn't tell by the score of this game, but their defensive talent and just how I think confident you should be in your defense with the guys you have on there. It's a much less confident feeling than if you're the Packers. So I think that kind of weighs into it. Obviously, where's the strength of your defense? Is it the D line? Is it stopping the run? You know, it's kind of like a contextual situation, a contextual conversation that I think also the game script takes into account. Like, is your best 2-point play been used yet? Did you need to tie up the game at some point? Did you need to convert on like a 4th and 1? So all that stuff kind of goes into it, and there haven't been many 4th down. Oh, damn, I thought Dak was going to get that. There haven't been any 4th downs that I've missed. I don't think.
No,
you've been watching the game more than I have, so
I have. But no, I don't think you missed anything.
It's funny when the trade happened, everybody was obviously focused on Micah and the picks, but Kenny Clark, like I think, you felt the fact that he switched teams in this game, like very obviously. Dallas would not be doing this to Green Bay right now without Kenny Clark.
So I think if you're Dallas, you're kicking here, right? I don't know. I'd still go. I'd just go.
This is what 4th and 3. I'd still go.
I'd go. Like, because
what's Green Bay going to do? They're going to drive the whole field with 4.5 minutes?
I don't know. I just feel like you're the dog. You're the dog in the game. Like, I don't know. I'm rolling the dice. I'm just being really, really aggressive. I don't hate the field goal. Just to be clear, like I don't think it's like a terrible call or something like that. But not like. Did you see the Tomlin thing today? Where he was like he took the delay of game to punt.
Bro, that was. Imagine
like
goal that Aubrey missed. I just wanted to say that. Imagine that was what he decided to fuck up.
I've never seen that guy miss a field goal. It's ridiculous.
He's fucking. I'm gonna look up his field goal percentage right now. But I did see the Mike Tomlin thing, and I think that's an example of the football might be leaving him, unfortunately.
Tomlin's just. There's nobody in that building that can really challenge him. I think that's kind of a problem.
Brandon Aubrey's career field goal percentage is 90.5%.
Yeah, that's a lot lower than I thought. I thought it'd be like fucking 98. So Jaxson Dart.
Yeah. You see the smile on my face when you said that name. You know?
I did see the smile on your face.
Where should I start? I'm gonna start with two things. Middle of the field was an absolute totally different ballgame.
That was the most noticeable thing. Like, so I was watching that game on my main screen, and then I had the Bills, because like when the Bills play, and I don't get it, just so people know, I don't pay for Sunday ticket. Not giving the NFL $700. Like,
yeah.
So I have to find less than reputable streams to then stream the Bills game, and the stream that was good that I found was like a good minute behind in terms of the actual game time. So if it was like, if on ESPN I'm checking the score and it's like 5 minutes left in the third quarter, there was like 7 minutes left in my stream. So I'm like watching, so I put on, I didn't want to watch Red Zone, right? Because Red Zone's going to fucking blow the entire Bills game for me. It's like everything that's going to happen is going to show up there.
Okay.
So I just had the Giants game on. But that was the thing I noticed the most offensively, was just like there was so much more, just there was like an actual threat of not like one throwing the ball to the midfield, and then the other part you saw, which was like very, very evident, is this guy can move. Like he's got real wheels, and and I'm not just talking about like speed. Speed's one thing, right? There are a lot of fast quarterbacks, but the play that I honestly was like the most impressed by that he made today wasn't even a completion. It was the fourth down play at the goal line to Wandale, which gets broken up. I was like very, very impressed by that.
The jump ball that he freed himself up to throw.
Yeah, I mean the way he set himself, like I don't know who came off the edge there. Absolutely, he broke that guy's ankles. I mean, I don't know who the hell it was, but it was like, he just totally sold him. And look, it's one game, so you can't take. You want to stay a little bit kind of like even keeled. Yeah, exactly, even keeled about it. But if I were a Giants fan, like I come away from a game like that just being like, I mean, my main takeaway was like, this kid should have been starting week 1. That's my main takeaway from it.
Okay, I have some more stuff from the actual game before we go into that conversation. So another thing I really liked was the pocket presence and the pocket movement. He was not afraid to step up into the pocket when edge rushers were trying to turn the corner. He looked, and I don't mean to say this is the only other guy in the league who does this, but the way he kind of was sifting through traffic in the pocket, and how, if you have to step up to avoid an edge rusher, but then it brings you closer to a 3 tech, and then you have to pivot off of that. He looked very Mahomes-ish, and I think Mahomes is one of the better pocket movers in the league, and that's why I bring up his name. That was extremely encouraging to me because in your first start as a 22-year-old quarterback, right, with all this expectation and whatever on you, and people can say what they want. Dable can say what he wants about how he's ready. There's nothing like being in your first NFL game. That's very, very obvious. And to be in your first NFL game with the franchise at the point it was at, with all the frustration of the fans and the players looking defeated last week, this was not just a regular debut. This was a kid, we need you, Dave. Like, this is your franchise, and you need to take it over today. We can't wait 6 weeks because we might not be here in 6 weeks. And the little things from him, like the pocket presence, like keeping the safety over on the right side of the field with his eyes to come back to the left and throw that in breaker. The arm angle throws. There was a play where he stepped up into the pocket, and I thought he was going to take off because he was about a yard or so behind the line of scrimmage. So I thought he was going to tuck it and run. There's a linebacker about 8 yards, 9 yards of depth. He drops the arm angle to damn, is that DPI?
No, it wasn't. I thought, honestly, I'm not gonna say like.
Wait, give me 1 second. I'm sorry.
That should be DPI on like how they normally call it. I'm very happy they didn't call that. I fucking hate this.
Okay.
Like,
yeah.
I hate that like these underthrows get rewarded, man. It's horseshit.
Well, we got one of those today, thankfully. So
yeah, but that's what I mean. It's like it should be called because that's how you normally call it. But I have no issue with that being a no call. Like, to me, that should like we got to stop rewarding offenses for failing. Like we don't need to reward that. Like, that was a terrible throw, by the way. And that was another fucking I gotta throw it up off my back foot throw from Jordan Love. Like, just fucking lob it up there.
Yeah, it's at this point fucking common for him. It's what he does. Which anyway, brutal from him. And like Dart did that a couple times today too. So
yeah, well, he's a fucking first time, starter, literally ever as a rookie. He's also what? Is he 22? Am I right on that?
He's 22. Yeah.
So is he the youngest rookie in the class? Like quarterback wise.
I know Shador's 23. I don't know if Ward is 22 or 23. And then who else?
I'm pretty sure Ward is 23. So I think Ward was like a year ahead of Shador or whatever that was.
He definitely might be.
But yeah, I mean, to get back to the relevant conversation here, I just thought the biggest takeaway for me was like there was this school of thought, right? Of like, well, it's fine to make the change, but you should wait until you play the Saints in week 5 to make the change because the Saints are bad and the Chargers are fucking awesome. Their defense is awesome. So like you shouldn't make the change now. And I mean, we talked about it then, but like I just think that's just stupid because it's the NFL, dude. Like it's not like you can start him against the Saints and then 3 days later when you play the Eagles, you're like, okay, actually you're not going to start now. Now we're going to put Russell back in and like, no, like once you make the change, it's the change. He's going to play good defenses at some point. You can't avoid that fate. It's fine. Like, if your determination, which was the right call, by the way, Russell Wilson, who, by the way, has been getting way too much shit the last couple of weeks for, like, what his career is or whatever. Like, this idea that he's not a Hall of Famer because he's had a bad couple of years here at the end of his career is nonsense. The guy's a first ballot Hall of Famer. He was an elite quarterback in his prime. He was a 3rd round pick. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like people have lost sight of like what this guy actually achieved in his career. It's nonsense. He's a first ballot Hall of Famer. So putting that aside,
the fucked part is that it's his teammates too, his former teammates.
Look, Sherman is. I don't want to do the Sherman thing.
No comment. Yeah, it's fine. Let's move on. Yeah,
he is the worst, man. He's the worst. But like I just thought it was very palpable to me how like I think there's a lot of respect for Russell Wilson in that building. Like I think there's a lot of respect from his teammates. I don't think that they didn't. I don't think there was like we don't believe in Russell Wilson stuff going on the first 3 weeks of the season at all. Like I don't think that was part of their problem. But I do think the way they respond to Dart in moments in this game, I think there's a real belief in him in that building of like not just like what he can become, his potential or whatever, but that this guy is our best chance to win football games right now. And I thought that was like obviously you're gonna have to go through growing pains. Jaxson Dart didn't play a perfect game today. Like he had fuck ups, he whatever, but you live with that stuff because you can see if you can see the potential, right? If you can see like, okay, what this guy can give us. And you saw Theo Johnson making some plays today, right? Like this guy wasn't even he might as well have not been on the fucking field the first 3 weeks. Like because you couldn't use your tight ends with Russell Wilson because you can't make those plays over the middle. I mean, that was never his strong suit, but it's especially not his. He just can't do it now at all. You saw Bellinger make a play today. Bellinger made a huge fucking what was it, 3rd down catch that he gets for a first down.
it was 3rd and 13, and like right when the Sam tried to carry the vertical out of the slot, he hit Bellinger, and Bellinger was able to take it for like 4 or 5 more yards for a first down.
Right, and I'm saying like you saw guys be able to make plays that didn't even have the opportunities to make plays in the first 3 weeks. And again, that's not, I don't want to do this like dunk on Russell Wilson thing. He can't do it anymore. He is old and he is what he is. Like he's a limited player at this point in his career. So I don't know. I was very impressed with like what he opened up for the Giants today. Obviously, now there's tape on him, right? I mean, you even saw in the course of the game the Chargers change up, right? In the first half, there was no integrity in their rush lanes. There's no integrity. They're just rushing the passer, and you saw Dart. See, he gets a touchdown run. He also had another long run that got taken back, right?
That was a fucking impressive run too.
Yeah, but the point is like you kind of saw like they did not understand this guy is a rushing threat in that first half, and then the second half, you saw the edges kind of like they were compressing the pocket, right? They were not just trying to like rush the passer without any integrity of passing lanes. Like they were really, really focused on that. And I think that already speaks to like, hey, look, this is something that now like these are the type of things that necessitate Jaxson Dart having to become a better pocket passer. But the fact that is already a thing, that halfway through his rookie debut is an adjustment that had to be made. It's a really, really positive sign. Like that speaks to, I mean, that's part of the reason you drafted the kid, right? It's like because you believe in that kind of ability to make plays, not just with your arm, but also with your legs.
Yeah. I didn't think he was going to be that good of an athlete in the NFL. Like not from a like when I say not good, it's a little harsh, but I didn't think he was going to be able to rely on it the way he did today. And as I was watching the game, I was like, this guy as an athlete at the quarterback position might be top 10. So then I went through a couple of the names. And I'll find it right now and I'll read it out. So I was talking to somebody and I said, in no particular order, this is some of the best running quarterbacks in the NFL. Lamar, Josh Allen, Jaden Daniels, Jalen Hurts, Drake May, Justin Herbert. Even he's running more now, and I think he'll be recognized around here, around the end of the season. So those 6, Kyler Murray 7, Bo Nix 8, Joe
We're
Burrow.
on the cusp of a draw here, by the way.
Yeah, that's insanity.
By the way, Jordan Love literally, I mean, good God, bro. This guy waited that long. Like, he almost ran out the fucking clock
Yeah,
here.
he almost fucking lost the game.
It's just ridiculous. Like, are you fucking kidding me?
I wonder how much Jerry paid the fucking devil to not lose this game.
40-40 ties. That's got to be a scoregami.
That's a fucking scoregami, dude, for sure.
That
Yeah.
has to be a scoregami.
I love how scoregami is like a huge thing now. They deserve that recognition. So with the running quarterbacks, I'll just refresh. So Lamar, Josh Allen, Jaden Daniels, Jalen Hurts, Drake May, Justin Herbert, Kyler Murray, Bo Nix, Joe Burrow. I did not include Justin Fields because I'm talking about guys who I believe are franchise quarterbacks. So he was not included. Who else would there be who has a case, but I didn't include them. Nobody else to me was remarkable enough. So after that, I was like, who am I going to take over Jaxson Dart? CJ Stroud? No. Jordan Love? No. Dak Prescott? No. Like Geno Smith is not getting out of the pocket like that. Sam Darnold is not getting out of the pocket like that. Brock Purdy's not getting out of the pocket like that. So he's already an above average quarterback using his legs in the NFL, and the arm stuff is all there. Like what I was talking about earlier when he stepped up in the pocket and there was a linebacker about 9 yards of depth down the field. He saw it and he dropped his arm angle, very Stafford-like pass. And some of the comps coming out of the draft were like a less experienced but more mobile Matthew Stafford, like a Ricky Dak maybe type of comp. Those kind of like above average passers but not elite. And he's an athleticism upgrade over all of them. I think that was very evident day one. They ran the freaking Chiefs goal line play with him, and they added a wrinkle to it too, because he had to throw with his left, not his right. I thought that was a little weird, and I picked up on it. But the QB read stuff is going to be huge for this team. I mean, this O-line needs any advantage they can get. And I think you saw when they ran the QB read stuff, it froze those guys in the middle for a split second just because they're going to have to scrape over if he pulls it, right? So that allowed for a lot more of like the 7 to 9 yard runs from Cam instead of being like a 3, 4, 5 yard gain. And that makes all the difference, right? Especially when you have a guy like Cam who's just absolutely fucking ridiculous and willing to hit anything moving with his head. Like that guy I fear for his safety when he retires from this game.
I fear for his safety before that.
and this guy's hitting backflips on MetLife turf, bro. Like we need to cut that shit out. Cut that shit out like starting tomorrow. There's no more
only road games.
Yeah. Like when you're at a MetLife, just do like a spike or something, man. Like
hand the ball. You know what? Act like you've been there before. Hand the ball to the ref.
Right? Classic white guy fashion too. Yeah.
Respect the game.
Respect the game. Respect the people who did it before you. How about that? This is not a football question, but Chris Bernhard says, Con, what's worse, 2007 or 2025? I say 2007 because the collapse happened in 2 seconds, but this year is agonizing. Oh well, Carl Schwarber, welcome to Queens. If you don't know,
well, you gotta remember, Con in 2007 was like 4 months old.
So. I was a lot younger than Schwinn in 2007. But I didn't obviously take in the full thing of 2007. My dad has told me about it numerous times in a very colorful way, which is how I'll describe that. But this team just honestly fucking sucked, man. Like, I don't know what to say. They got Juan Soto and everybody decided to fucking pack it in.
They basically, for like, they did like the splashy stuff, right, that the Knicks kind of did last year. And you remember how miserable this Knicks season was in a lot of ways, even though they
Yeah.
made it to the Eastern Conference Finals. It's like the conversation on the team was so miserable the entire year, but you're like, okay, but they're actually good. Like they're actually very good, and like they got to the Eastern Conference Finals, so it's like, okay, so it wasn't that bad. This is like if you just didn't have any of that. It's like if they had a middling regular season and then lost in the first round to the Pistons, and you'd be like, this is the fucking worst Knicks team of my life. I want to kill this team. That's like what the Mets season was, basically.
That's nowhere near as bad as this one, man.
I was 9, and this is my first moment of sports PTSD. To bring it back to the Giants, look, Jaxson, that's obviously a story, and I want to say, like, I was again, I agree with everything you said. You brought up the Stafford comp. Who did the Giants trade up ahead of to get Jaxson Dart? Who traded out as soon as they drafted Jaxson Dart? Was the Rams. So I think there's something.
Who did the Giants want before they got to draft day? Right,
Stafford,
there was
right,
Stafford spot, right? Yeah,
right. So I again, I think it's always dangerous to like, take victory laps or whatever. Not that you're doing that or anybody's necessarily doing that after one game, but like, if I'm a Giants fan, look, Malik Neighbors, we saw it happen. He's probably out for the year. That sucks. But I think, again, like the encouraging part of this is Neighbors goes out, right? You're your number one target, the guy that like you're gonna hit the spam button on if you're Jaxson Dart. He goes out in the first half of the game. Kid didn't piss himself. Like okay, all right, I got to move on. He started targeting Slayton, right? He started getting other guys involved. I think that's really, really encouraging. Again, does this mean that he's about to become, he's on track to be like an elite quarterback? I don't know. I think it's way too soon to even think about that type of shit. But like, you at least can see the vision of like, okay, this is why you went to go get this player. Like, this is why you traded up to get this player. This is what he opens up, and you could see what he opened up in the offense, right? So those are very, very encouraging things. I'll just say this, like, obviously Dart thing is Dart thing. That's obviously that's the most important thing for the future of the franchise. But if you're talking about a pathway for success for this year's Giants, I thought you saw that with everything that defensive line gave you today. That was, I don't know, man. I thought they dominated the game. And I know Joel gets hurt, so it's like, oh, well, both their tackles are out, right? Because Slater's already out and Alt's out. They were dominating the game before that. Like, they were dominating the game before Alt got hurt. I thought that was really, really impressive. And it was the first time that, like, because their defensive line, these guys, they've been pretty good the entire year. Like Burns and Thibodeau and Carter, whatever.
Burns and Kayvon, like, they both took it up to a whole different level this year.
But like, what I think was the best part of this game, again, if I'm a Giants fan looking at this, is like, this was the first game where you felt like that defensive line dominance was complemented. Well, not just translated, but it was complemented by what happened behind them, right? At the linebacker level, at the defensive back level. Not to say that it was a perfect game. Definitely wasn't a perfect game. But like, I thought, like, I don't know. I see a lot of Giants fans tweets across my timeline, and I saw a lot of stuff like Andrew Phillips isn't actually that good, and like this guy, I'm like, I don't know, man. I think Newman and Phillips are pretty good. I think they're fine. I think they're pretty solid players. I thought Phillips had a really nice game today. I thought he had a good game against the Cowboys, and they gave up fucking 40 points or whatever the hell it was. I think he's playing very well this year. That's a guy, to me, I'd be looking at. I'm not a cornerstone, but that's a guy that you're like, okay, no, we can build with this player. And I thought Javon Holland had a really nice game today too.
I wasn't super keen on Holland because first of all, he's probably in the back half of the yeah, that was a fucking hilarious comment. Put that shit up there. That's what I was laughing at earlier, like 2 minutes ago. For people who can't see the screen. Rookie Giants quarterback Jaxson Dart on Malik Neighbors. To my friend Malik, rest now, brother. We have the watch, and I will see you in Valhalla. That was actually one of Schwinn's friends who said that original quote.
Yep.
One of his
Yeah,
boys.
my good boy. Yeah. Cash.
Cash. He wants to be white so bad with that fucking name, bro.
Cash by.
Oh, is that it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So he wasn't just trying to get our
No,
approval. Okay.
Anyway, getting back to football.
What was I saying? So usually Javon Holland is not in the broadcast angle because he's usually our deep safety. So because of that, and just because of the fact that the Chargers are out on 2 starting linemen at O tackle either side, I was just watching the edges, and this was the first game where it didn't matter who was on what side of the line or whatever. It was just wins no matter what. And I think, if I remember correctly, off of the tweets I saw, it was something like 20 pressures on like 40-something dropbacks from Justin Herbert. I think that's about what it was. I think there was like 6 QB hits total. I think there was like 3 sacks. But it was much, much more impactful than the sacks and the QB hits would tell you. Like, they were stalling the offense by themselves at times. And I think Drew Phillips, this is like not one of the better Drew Phillips games this season, in my opinion. And not because he didn't play good, but because he's played a lot better and given up more yards than he did today because of just how the natural cause of the NFL works out. Like, certain plays you get beat and nobody got home and you just end up getting put in the Jumbotron. Today he got bailed out on a lot of plays and he benefited from catching a pick on a play where Herbert did not have time to throw. So Drew was good. I'm not going to like go crazy about it, but
Debo. This might have been Debo's best game as a Giant, by the way.
Maybe. I still have a major problem with his tackling and like
he's that fucking one. So the play that like Holland had to come over and take down Hampton. You saw that play was ridiculous.
Yeah,
like,
that was the one where about 4 or 5 yards downfield, Hampton and Adebo were like doing like a tackle battle, whatever the fuck. And Adebo goes to try to tackle him standing straight up, not like getting down at all, not trying to go low. And it's like, dude, you're giving up weight. You are a lot taller, and this guy's running at you with the full head of steam. You're not going to win this fucking battle. And you saw it. Like, he slowed him for like a second, and then Hampton pushed it into like another 10 or 12 yards gained on the back end.
Hampton, by the way, dude, that guy's a fucking piece of player, bro.
Everything slowed down for him these last 2 weeks, like big time.
But also,
second week in a row, I think, where he had over 150 scrimmage yards, which is fucking crazy.
So you're telling me Justin Herbert has an elite running back and a really nice receiving core? Interesting.
This was this was bad from my boy. Unfortunately, this was
it's good for me.
Hey, Omar.
Good.
Tip of the hat to my boy Omar in Strickly. Great game from him today.
His Super Bowl was today.
Yeah, exactly.
He's been talking about this fucking game for like 6 months.
I can't believe they fucking won this game, man. Like,
I like this spot for them. I don't know. The quarterback changed something. They don't win this game. Look, by the way, Russ came in for 1 snap, and I was like, yeah, it's over, bro. It's done. He almost fumbled on that shit too. It was it's not good. But yeah, no, I don't know. I was very impressed, I think, overall with the Giants defense. Given, I mean, they Dart had a nice game. He had a nice game, but this was not like some, superstar performance, right? Like, this was not like the Giants offense was putting up fucking crazy numbers or something. They had to battle for this game, and the defense had to hold up on their part, and they delivered, right? They got you 2 possessions inside the fucking 3-yard line. 2. Dexter Lawrence, and Dexter Lawrence had his first his preseason is over now. He is going buy Dexter Lawrence stock. Like he is going to he's going to be fine. Like I'm not worried about guys like that. This is like the same thing with the Steelers defense, right? Where it was like, oh, what's wrong with the Steelers defense? And I'm like, nothing's wrong with the Steelers defense. None of these guys played preseason.
Yeah.
So this is their preseason. And around week 4, right, you start seeing these guys getting their legs back and dialing it up. Like, we're worried about who's the Steelers defense tackle? I can't. My brain.
Cam Hayward.
Yeah, but like I was like first couple weeks, I was like, is he done? And then I'm like,
you fucking paid him too. Ooh.
Yeah, and now I'm like, no, he's fine. He just needed to get his legs under him. But I think you're seeing that with Dexter Lawrence too. Like, I thought he looked a little bit better last week. This week was his first like, oh yeah, Dex is back. This is Dex. This is the guy. That was an incredible play. I mean, to tip the ball, he was so close. He was so close to a touchdown.
And you know what? That might unfortunately, that's never going to happen again.
No, it's never going to happen. He's never going to have another chance to score a touchdown again. But that was a great play. But it's I think probably, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but if I would guess the defense you saw today, that's like the vision you had of what, the resources you've poured into like that side of the ball. This is what it's supposed to look like.
Yeah, at least something close to it, right? I still think that if there was 2 stronger linebackers here, there's a world of a difference. And I know that you know that. I know everybody who's listening knows that, but that has to be said still. The fact that Darius Musow made a productive tackle at all today, I was beside myself. Once Darius Musow gives you one negative play, you can kind of just chalk up the rest of the game and be like, yeah, from this point on, whatever contribution you get, that's a surplus. So that is something that they still need to be working out. And I think they still don't have a great role for Tyler Nubin. I think they need to be cutting down the space that he plays in. And I don't love saying that for a safety in year 2. I also don't love putting him in that kind of pigeonhole where I'm saying he kind of can't play in space now. But I think the game is still moving slightly fast for him. And Javon can, I think, take more on his plate. I think Javon should be the guy trying to crash down on running backs who are coming out of the backfield. If a running back staying against a block, like he should be playing the strong side that has like the trips to it or whatever and reading the field that way. I think Nubin has to be the guy taking the tight ends right now. And they're kind of dishing off those responsibilities, like kind of pretty evenly split. But Nubin is just somebody, like, he's not as athletic. That just kind of is what it is. You saw on was it the Hampton breakaway? I think it was where Nubin couldn't catch him. It was either Nubin or Belton. Belton had some fucking brutal plays today. I don't know if you saw all of them. Belton had the play where
I'll tell you who I thought was. I'll tell you the guy who I thought was fucking horrible. You're talking about you're basically talking about tackling angles here, right? We were talking about the secondary.
Yes, yeah.
Deontay Banks is fucking awful.
Cut them
third
off,
down.
bro.
What was it? Was it 3rd and 18 or where the hell it was that Herbert converted? Where it's like, dude, and they highlighted on the broadcast. They're like, you have to have outside leverage here. Like, you can't give up the edge there. And he takes the dumbest angle possible and basically just gives up the first down off that. Banks is terrible. He's a bust. It's what it is. Does that mean he's not unplayable level bad, but he's a guy who's a liability on the field. If he's on the field as a liability, he's going to be a guy that gets targeted in whatever way. Look, the Giants still have a lot of problems, but you at least saw the kind of big ticket items, right? Burns, Thibodeau, Carter, Lawrence, Dart, whoever, the big kind of these are the guys that are supposed to be the core of the team. I thought you could be very encouraged by that. And I'll throw this to you. So I'm curious to get your thoughts. Like, what do the Giants do with Kayvon here? Because
Yeah.
I don't really subscribe to the idea that they should try to sell high on him. Like, you have a rookie scale quarterback. This is the exact time that you want to put and invest resources in everything else in your team. And you can, right? Like, you can. You don't need to rob Peter to pay Paul because you're not paying a quarterback yet. I don't think, I think Kayvon has probably been a disappointment relative to expectations when he was drafted. But
Can
I don't
stop
think
you? I think even disappointment is harsh. I think he's just underwhelming.
Yeah, fair enough. And so my point is, like, but I've never watched him and felt like this guy is hopeless. I've just felt like you want more. You want more from him. But you've seen those flashes through his 3 years. What we're seeing now, right, in his 4th year, this is like, and like edge rushers, defensive linemen in general, but especially edge rushers, it can be a slow developing position. Like, the prime example is Hendrickson, right? Like literally was whatever his first 3 years in New Orleans, has a great 4th year, and then they basically let him walk because they declined the 5th-year option and let him walk in free agency. And obviously, we know that Hendrickson now is, you know, one of the best defensive ends in the sport. Like, I would just not be interested in dumping Kayvon Thibodeau for a pick in day 2. Like, I just don't think that makes sense. And like, you have the opportunity here for at least the next 3 years beyond this, where Jaxson Dart is making nothing effectively in NFL terms, to invest heavily in other in other parts of your team. I would be totally fine keeping Thibodeau and even extending him potentially, depending on how this season works out.
So before you even finished what you said, when you were like, I'm going to pass this to you, I was like pulling up the Spotrac numbers because I thought that's what you were going to say. So I'm going to give some names. Nick Bonito is $26.5 million a year. Montez Sweat is 24. George Karlaftis is 22. Who else do we have here? Greg Rousseau is 20. Jonathan Grenard is 19. Alex Highsmith is 17. Right? Jonathan Cooper is 15. And I think that's about where I kind of have him. Now let's go to outside linebacker. Burns is 28, which, remember when people were hating on that contract? I remember very vividly when people were hating on that deal. Josh Sweat is 19 million. Bradley Chubb is 18. Uchenna Nwosu is 15. So I think there's a very clear.
Don't forget the Dolphins also gave up a first-round pick for Bradley Chubb. Let's not.
Oh yeah. Chris Greer, you know.
Extend him. I'm a fan.
We love Chris Greer, right? We love Chris Greer. Great guy. I think it's very easy to go to the table with Kayvon and 4 years, probably about $90 million, which is going to be, quick math, $22.5 million a season. That's very easy deal to me. Very easy deal. And the move there is probably once Abdul is up for his contract, then you move off of Burns somehow. But we can get into this conversation just a little bit too with Burns. So with Kayvon, I would definitely not be trading him. I saw ideas floated about trading Kayvon for Olave, who we can also talk about after Burns. We'll do Burns and then Olave. I would not be trading Kayvon for Chris Olave. That's asinine to me. It's crazy. Especially when you consider Olave's injury history. So yeah, there's that. And like you said, with the whole QB contract situation, what incentive is there to not pay these guys, right? Like, you drafted Dex, you paid him. You drafted Andrew Thomas, you paid him. You want to pay these guys. That's the goal of drafting somebody in the first round. You want to pay them. You want to pay them once, twice, 3 times, even if you can, if you're lucky enough. So they have the 5th-year option on Kayvon. I'm more than positive.
And they picked it up, right? They already picked it up.
So. Yeah. I'm more than positive that having that 5th-year option will give them a leg up to save $2 million or something like that a season against the cap. If they can give him a little pay raise this upcoming year, whether that's incentives or whatever the case may be. So Kayvon fully is, to me, player who you keep here. If you've listened to the pod since it started, I've had smoke for Kayvon. I thought Kayvon was a very incomplete player compared to what the expectation was for him as a rookie.
I love his motor this year. I'm not gonna lie. I just think he's playing so hard. You can tell. Maybe some of that is like, is he playing for a contract? Sure, but like, I don't know. I've never thought like he doesn't try. Like, I think his effort has generally always been there. But like, he had a couple plays today where it's like he's cleaning up, he's finishing plays, right? It's like, you can cheat, right? You can cheat sometimes where it's like, oh yeah, no, that play's over. I don't need to get over there and clean up. Like, he's like making that extra effort. I don't know. I've just been very impressed with him. I think his professionalism has definitely elevated this year. We know Kayvon, he's a little bit corny when he talks publicly at times, and he likes to put on a face. But like, I just think that he's toned that stuff down, and I think he's just playing. Like, he's just, I don't know. He seems like he's matured a bit. Is probably the best way I can put it in terms of his playing.
Additionally, some of the production he's gotten this year is off of knowing when to peel off of a pass rush. And there was one play today where Herbert has kind of the cease part right in front of him, right? Because D tackles get washed down or whatever, and there's just a massive place to step up right into for him. And Kayvon sees it, and he just gives up on his pass rush. Peels off, trips up Herbert for, I think it was either no gain or like a 1-yard gain. That's a play that if he doesn't stop going for his sack, right? Pause. If he doesn't stop going for the sack, it might rip off into like a 10, 15-yard run. Like, who knows what's in front of him, right? If we can only go back and watch the tape. So those things, I think it's what Burns, if you listen to his pregame stuff, his preseason stuff, he sets the tone with all that shit. One thing that stands out and will stand out to me forever is after the Jets-Giants joint practice, when Burns and Abdul and Kayvon were just ripping the Jets O-line apart. Burns had just run gassers after practice, and then Abdul's at the podium, and he's like, take a seat, bro. Like, this is my interview to do, like, for all of us. The way he carries himself has 100% trickled down to Kayvon. I think it's very evident. I think it's very evident that Kayvon's worked on his body a lot bigger than he was in the last couple of years. Again, might have to pause on that. But between that, the boxing and the wrestling classes that he's taken, it's helped his hands 1,000-fold, which is the main thing when I talked about earlier, the incompleteness coming out of college. That was the main thing with him that I fucking really despised. His hands are a lot better, a lot faster, and it allows him to do what I talked about earlier with peeling off the block when when he needs to. So what's this comment you put up? You want to read it out?
Yeah, I'll read it out. Daboll joined his quarterback. The two had already embraced each other in the field, but this was different. It was quieter now, less around. Daboll reached his hand out, grabbed the back of Dart's neck, and brought him close. They held each other. Daboll then walked away with a smile. Real Connor Hughes.
Ooh, erotic, bro.
I'll just say this, like, whatever you want to say. This is like very, like, this is somewhat like boomer stuff I'm going to come out here with. But like, I thought Daboll throughout the course of this game and at the end of the game, I was just like, I'm coming away from that. I'm just like, his mannerisms, his demeanor, the way he carries himself. I'm like, you don't carry yourself like a head coach. You carry yourself like a coordinator. And I don't I don't know. I'm just still very out on him. Even today, like you had third and goal at the 1. He has fucking Jaxson Dart and shotgun. Like, what the fuck are we doing here? Like, give me a break with that shit. Like, if you're gonna run a running play, then run a fucking running play. Like, we're not putting Jaxson Dart and fucking shotgun here, and like, it's just bullshit. I'm still very out on him, and I don't know. I know this again. Like I said, like I know this is like very feelings and body language, psychology stuff, but I just came away thoroughly unimpressed with Dabo today in just everything, as far as like how I feel a head coach should just be.
Yeah.
And
all of the CEO stuff that I kind of get on other people for bringing up when bringing up coaches, that stuff was glaring you in the face today still.
Yeah, I just didn't I just didn't see anything. Like, did they win the game today because of things that Daboll did? I have a very hard time. I'd have a hard time constructing that argument. I don't know. To me, this just feels like, look, maybe Jaxson Dart stays his job, but I did not come away from this game thinking any more highly of him, and in a lot of ways, I came away thinking like Jaxson Dart did a lot more for you than you did for Jaxson Dart.
Yeah. I mean, this guy had Jaxson Dart watching a fucking half a day's worth of Josh Allen. That's probably the worst.
That was but what the hell was that? Like, oh, we watched. It wasn't even like, oh, we watched some specific thing that Josh Allen does. It was like we watched Josh Allen's highlights. I'm like, okay, so you went on fucking YouTube and like did what I do, where you're like, Josh Allen top plays 2025, 2024. Like, Josh Allen MVP highlights. Like, give me a break, man. What the fuck is that? I don't know. I don't get it. But look, if he can at least bring along Dart here and develop him, and that's cool. Like, good. Like that's obviously good.
I'm literally thinking like, hopefully Daboll sets him up real well for the next guy who's coaching this team. Like that was my thought process today. Yeah,
I agree. Like that's that's kind of what I was getting at. Where I was just like, I just don't see it with Daboll. I'm sorry, and like, I've talked about this with you forever. I've talked about this for a long time, but like, I think Daboll got a lot of juice out of like, oh wow, he developed Josh Allen. I'm like, dude, you developed Josh Allen? Did Ken Dorsey develop Josh Allen too? Like Josh Allen's Josh Allen, bro. This is like saying like, Eric Bieniemy developed Patrick Mahomes. Like, what the fuck? Yeah, like no, like Patrick Mahomes is Patrick Mahomes. He's the best quarterback in the league. Like that's what it is. Like yeah, maybe he helped him. Maybe he wasn't a hindrance. But the idea that like these guys are intimately like the reason for why these guys are great quarterbacks is obviously bullshit. It's nonsense. Are we allowed to talk about the Ravens now? Can we talk about the Ravens?
Can we do the Olave thing before that?
Yes, let's do the Olave thing.
So
I watched Olave today, by the way. It was nice.
Yes, you did. You did. Yeah. You watched him on your TV screen today.
He had a very bad drop at one point. He also almost came up with like a miracle catch on a horribly thrown ball in the end zone by Rattler, which would have been, I mean, honestly, if he completed the catch, it would have been like the catch of the year. It was ridiculous. They almost even came up with it. I'm into Olave. I think he's a really good player. I just worry about the concussion stuff with him. That's really it. That's my only concern with him.
Yeah. The concussion stuff is scary because he's had like multiple in a short time span, I think twice. And the research out there for multiple diagnosed concussions in between like a 3-week span is really brutal. Trust me, I just learned about that in school. Shout out to school. But yeah, the Olave stuff is very scary. It's very Tua-esque, where like he hasn't had the viral moments where like he starts to kind of, freeze up like Tua, but the quarterback play in New Orleans has been so bad, and he's just like on jump balls, he's had the worst luck where like his head bangs against the floor, and you can kind of see like the light shut out on him and all that stuff. So that is something you have to take into account. But From Hawkeye 420, he said, "If the Giants trade for a wide receiver, why the fuck is Hyatt still here?" That's not even if they trade for a receiver, bro. Why the fuck is he here anyway, dude? Is it the same reason that bum ass Deontay? Oh, it's not even bum ass. It's just bum. But I wanted to say that. Is it the same reason that bum ass Deontay Banks gets snaps over Flott despite losing the position in preseason and camp? I'll do the Banks thing first because then we'll segue into Olave and trading. Banks is he's on the field because of draft position. He's been brutal, whether it's camp or if it's been actually in the games, right? Like that's usually been a thing where he'll make like a good play on like miraculously he'll make a play in coverage where
he has physical tools. He's got good tools.
Yeah. But it's just like his head's not turned around, right? But the ball hits him in the back and it's a pass breakup, and you're like, dude, if you turned around, you have an interception, right? But that stuff's not there this year. And Flott has been a decent player. So when you're going from decent to terrible, it's fucking brutal. Like, it's extremely noticeable. And you see it, right, as an unbiased viewer. You see it. He gets thrown at whenever he's in the game. So Banks is probably not on this roster next season. That's the reality of his situation.
Yeah, no, Banks is just he's there because they couldn't address. You weren't going to be able to reasonably address every issue you had, and it makes it harder when you pay Russell Wilson $11 million to be a backup after 3 weeks.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I don't know, the Banks thing. The Banks thing is whatever, and he sucks, and it is what it is. And like Flott's not perfect either, so it's kind of like it's one of those things where it's like you're gonna play if you start Flott, okay, within like 2 quarters, you're gonna be like, oh god, he sucks. Let me give this up. You just have to keep rotating those guys and like hope you get enough out of them out of the course of a game. That's really what it is. The hope is at least if Adebo plays kind of like what he did today, and the tackling issues are there, but at least in coverage, if he plays like he did today, that's manageable. It's managed. Like cornerback 2 is it's the spot that I think almost every defense in the league is kind of like we will. That's almost like the position. You're like we'll deal with it. Like we'll deal with it if the rest of it's a position where you kind of like you're not investing a ton of top dollars into that, right? Like the Jets had to do that this year, right? They got the benefit of it before they had to pay Sauce, where it was like, okay, well, we have him and DJ Reed. This is awesome. And then DJ Reed is now a free agent. They're not going to pay him because they're going to pay Sauce. And now their CB2 is a disaster. But like, you kind of have to deal with that, and you shade your coverage that way and try to protect those guys as best you can.
Yep. Yeah, that's kind of, and that is what they're doing with Flott, right? Like in a nutshell, that is what they're doing. They're not letting him consistently man up, and fend for his own fucking whatever the fuck. I didn't really know if that's the right phrase or not, but yeah. I want to do the Olave thing real quick because we talked about it a couple times. So I think there's 2 different trade structures that we can do with Olave. One, to go to your point about Hyatt, I think Hyatt should be going out no matter what because, excuse me, any type of trim off the top of the price that you can get by including Hyatt is a no-brainer. Like, just get him out of the building, whatever.
Well, it's like what you do with like NBA trades, right? Where you're like, okay,
right, exactly, yeah.
Where you're like, this guy isn't actually. It's like when we traded Bogdanovich for Mikal. You're like, he actually isn't relevant to the trade. He's just making the money work. So it's kind of like
actually, because they're not going to be too far. It might be like $1 million or $2 million off of cap hit because of the round differential. But yeah, that plays into it too. You won't have to do the circus acts with your cap salary. But let's say they're asking for like a 3 and a 6, and this is where it comes in, right? Like the Giants don't have a third round pick because they used the trade for Jaxson Dart. So if instead of a 3 and a 6, you can get him for a 4 and a 6 plus Jalen Hyatt, like that is extremely valuable, right? Like this is a trade that you wouldn't be able to do otherwise. So whether it's that or like even if it's like a 4 and a 5 in Jalen Hyatt for Chris Olave, one, the Giants have the money to pay this guy. Two, I don't care what anybody says about draft position and holding your draft picks and whatever. I would fucking trade whatever to get a serviceable pseudo wide receiver one here, whether it's Olave, if Tyreek Hill is on the block, I would look into that. I would look into pretty much whatever option is out there that can be the X on the boundary because we're 4 games in, 17 total, the 13 remaining games. If you think that I'm throwing them to the wayside for Jaxson Dart to not have a reliable wide receiver one, you're out of your mind. Out of your mind flat out. And Olave's had the rumors with New Orleans before. He's been hurt. The team is really bad. Kellen Moore didn't draft him, right? And he's due for a contract. And they don't have a direction. So the two structures I thought of were at first the 4th round pick, which you might have to toss more on top of him on top of the 4th to get him, which is where Hyatt comes into play, like I said. Or
and you can always the thing is like they don't have a 3rd this year, right? But they can always offer like, okay, look, we'll give you the 3rd in 2027.
Yeah. Yes, correct. Or you can do, which I initially was kind of like, why am I thinking about this? That's stupid. But there's an alternate or a follow-up move that I think makes this make sense. I would consider trading the 2nd rounder for him. And let's say you get Olave and a 3 or Olave and a 4, because that pick most likely, like, let's not be ignorant, right? That's probably going to be a top 40, top 45 pick. So let's call it a round difference between our pick and the Saints pick in the 3rd round. That's somewhere in the ballpark of what it'll be. To trade up from the beginning of the 3rd to the late part of the early 2nd round, right? So like that kind of 38 to 42 range, that is a big gap. And that's usually like about another 3rd on top, maybe like a 3rd and a 6th, something like that. So my thinking is if you give the 2 and you get Olave and a 4 or something along those lines, now what you can do is you can trade back in the 1st round from, let's establish a random number. Let's say we have pick 9. If you trade back from pick 9 to pick 16 and you pick up a middle 2nd rounder, right, you can make up that asset. Yeah. And now at that point, since you don't have the 3rd, but you have two 4ths, you can now trade back up into the 3rd, and you've kind of remade your draft capital from the Dart trade and from the Olave trade by moving back in that 1st round. Granted, this is all in the hypothetical. You need 2 people to make a trade. I know all that shit. But they're going to have to get creative if they want to do what they want to do because, like I said, these games are too valuable to throw away with Jaxson Dart. And Joe makes trades. Joe makes a draft day trade at least once a year. I think this might be the 1st year where he didn't, which was his 4th draft class. And, yeah, I mean, this is, to me, that feels like in my perfect world, that's how it would play out. And then you get to run the rest of the season with Olave, Wandale, and Slayton. And when the season's over, do you want to extend Wandale? If you don't, sure. If you do, you can trade Slayton. And I'm going to pull up his contract information right now just so I could have it. But regardless, any type of year next year where you can have Malik healthy, but also not have him taking up 13 targets a game again from week 1 on, that's like an ideal world, right? We all would prefer that. And next year, Slayton is a $16 million cap hit no matter what, so they can trade him. They won't save any money, but I'm sure they can rework other people's numbers to kind of make that a pseudo money saving move, which also will replenish draft capital if you think about it too. So that issue is also getting solved by trading Slayton away. If you walk into next season with Malik Neighbors having a full offseason to heal up from this ACL injury, Wandale off of a decent extension, Chris Olave off of an extension. That's the healthiest receiver room the Giants have had since Odell and Victor Cruz, like since Hakeem Nicks and the Super Bowl run. Like, tell me where you think that is, because I think that's one of the stronger rooms in the league too, if I'm going to be honest.
I mean, if Olave is good and Neighbors is healthy, like that's, I don't know, man. Like Neighbors to me with like Neighbors is to me like when he's healthy, he's top 5 receiver worst at the absolute worst. And you put him with Olave. Olave is like you said, like he's not good enough to anchor your offense as a number 1 wide receiver at an elite level. But like if he was, I mean, if he's your number 1 receiver, like you probably have an okay offense. If he's your number 2 receiver, it's a different now it's a different thing. So I'm look, if they have the money and they can make it work, I'm for it. I also think it's like important to give Jaxson Dart a guy that he can be like, okay, sometimes you just need a guy where you're like, I'm not even reading the defense here. I'm just throwing it to you because I trust you, type of thing. Yeah. And obviously with Neighbors out, they don't have that. I do think Slayton is probably underrated. Like, I think he's actually a very good receiver. And if the Giants had better quarterback play during the course of his career, he'd probably get a little bit more like positive hype than he does, outside of Giants fans anyway. But like he's not a one, right? He's a deep shot guy, and he's great at that. He's like a phenomenal deep shot guy. But yeah, no, I'm with that. I think if they can trade for Olave and the cost makes sense and whatever, like they should do it, because they need something in that passing game to give them juice. That's not just like, Jaxson Dart running around like a fucking psycho and trying to make plays in the middle, or whatever the hell it is. So we'll see. I'm for that though. I think they should do. They got to do something. They got to get something at receiver. They cannot.
They can't just ignore it. Like that's irresponsible. It's irresponsible.
Like it sucks that Neighbors. It sucks that Neighbors got hurt. But he got hurt. Yeah, he got hurt. Like it is what it is. Like you got to And honestly, even if Neighbors didn't get hurt, probably needed more in that receiving room anyway.
Yeah. And one last thing with the receiver room is, like I said, Wandale's up for an extension, and Olave would need an extension. The Giants, with what I call reasonable cuts, which is like cutting Okereke to save $10 million, cutting John Runyon to save $11.5 million. With those reasonable cuts, they would have almost $70 million in cap space before the Olave and before the Wandale extensions, which, by the way, would not affect this upcoming season, I believe, for Olave, because he would have that 5th-year option. Wandale would affect that season. But Wandale's cap hit is going to be at most, I want to say, $10 to $11 million. So you're going to have about $65 million to play with before restructures. And that is healthy. Like, this is considering the fact that you still have like all of this year's starters on the roster besides, like I said, Okereke and Runyon, who you should be looking to draft over. Like, at this point, they are going to be the most glaring holes next year. It's going to be both the guard spots, which we'll see what happens with Marcus Bowe and if he shifts over to guard. But that's going to be a talking point. Is Marcus Bowe going to start at guard? You're going to need to get somebody next to Micah McFadden. And
by the way, we didn't even talk about this at all, but like Andrew Thomas, awesome player. Awesome player.
Yeah.
Needs to stay healthy. Like he makes a difference. Like you can see it. Like you literally saw it today again. When he is healthy, he is a difference making player.
Well, that's why we had this talk a little bit in the Discord. Sorry, I had to make sure my laptop was charging. But we had this talk a little bit in the Discord, and this is not a player who you trade away. Like, this is a player who is in his mid-20s giving you top 3 left tackle play. You do not part ways with him, like, at all. Think
Like
about what the Texans...
you need to get an offer that's like so insane that you have to say yes to it.
It's an offer that's like, are you giving us 3 first-round picks? And they're like, all right. And then you're like, are you sure? And they're like, yes. Well, yeah, we're sure.
You got to get you got to get Nico Harrison on the line.
Exactly. Like, yeah, you got to get him or you got to get Jerry Jones. But actually, fuck that. Do not trade him to Dallas, bro. Never mind. Don't forget I said that. He is just transformative as a lineman can be. You know, when you think about like that word and what it means for an offense, he is the ultimate luxury for a rookie quarterback. And when you look at him and Jermaine, they need to be kept together. Trading one, which would be AT, or letting Illuminor walk is a bad decision. No way around it.
No, Illuminor they got to keep. I don't like. They got to they should actually be talking to him right now about like, hey,
correct. Yeah.
Let's just get something done.
And the conversation should be like this: whether you're getting top end tackle money or you're getting top end guard money, right? Because Bo is probably better at tackle.
Like, you should be like, hey, do you want the Spencer Brown contract? Like that should be what he gets.
And it's like, even if they have internal plans on Bo playing tackle and Jermaine being somewhere else, if he wants to get paid like a tackle for 3 seasons, you have Jaxson Dart making jack shit, man. Do it. Just do it. It does not matter. You have 4, maybe 5 years, because he'll have extended, right? And you can kind of play with the cap and fuck around a little bit. You have about a half decade where you can be like, all right, it's a luxury. Probably don't want to do this at 25 mil. We want to do it at like 20, but fuck it. You can do that for about a half decade. And if there is ever a time to do it, it is year 1, year 2, where Jaxson Dart is still moldable. And he's like, you know, going through the learning development of the quarterback and position in the NFL and all that stuff. Like, this is not the time to fucking, you know, cheap out on $1 million for a player per season. Like, no, not even discussable.
Yeah, I agree.
Ravens time.
Look, shout out to the Chiefs, who I don't like. The way I'll put it is this, like,
out. Yep.
The way I'll say this is like, I just don't really understand how much evidence we need of like, stop assuming the Chiefs are done. Like, they're never done. Like, Mahomes he's one of the best quarterbacks ever. He is, as far as I'm concerned, and I'm the only one, even as the only Bills fan here, I am the only one when we ranked our quarterback that I was like, nope, I still got him at QB1 because he's still doing it.
Right.
Still doing it.
Yeah.
And I'll always say that. Like, I'm sorry, like, I never ranked Peyton Manning ahead of Tom Brady because I was like, no, I'm sorry, like, actually doing the thing that matters the most matters a lot. Like, and yeah, his defense is good, and okay, but like every time his defense is good, they win championships. Like, that seems like it matters. Patrick Mahomes is QB1, and it is what it is. I did not, even if the Chiefs had lost today, I would have been like, yeah, they're fine. They're gonna win fucking 11, 12 games and they'll make the playoffs. There's probably now they might win 12, 13 games and make the playoffs. It doesn't really matter to me. They were always going to be there. They're always going to be a contender as long as Patrick Mahomes is alive and as long as Andy Reid is the coach, and like the rest of that shit can move around and it can suffer, and they don't have as much talent as they had 3 years ago and whatever, but like they have enough that like no team is going to face the Chiefs in the playoffs and be like, this is the matchup we wanted. Yeah, we love this match. Like, no team is like, oh yeah, we want the Chiefs, bro. Like, give me a break. Okay, leaving that aside, and I do think it was an impressive win for the Chiefs. The Ravens are just, They should not be 1-3. I know that they're like opening 4 games have been pretty tough here. Like you got to play Buffalo week 1, you play Lions week 3, you play Chiefs week 4. It's not ideal. Should not be 1-3, and forget that they're 1-3. 1-3 is whatever. If they lost today in a competitive game, I think nobody is like that worried about it, right? We'd just be like, all right, whatever. Like you lost to the Chiefs, no big deal. The way they lost is just pathetic and embarrassing, and it honestly probably should have been worse. Like that they didn't give up more than 20 in the first half is somehow fortunate, like, which is insane because the Chiefs don't score points. Like they just don't do that anymore, apparently, until they play the Bills in the playoffs. Like they don't score points, and that was nuts. And like I don't know, like you cannot. I think their roster is overrated, and I'm guilty of having overrated the roster for sure. I think there's a lot of names that are stars versus like, are these players that are stars now going on there?
Well, the Jair thing is the biggest example with that for me, and like that's fucking shocking.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's like, well, again, like good organizations like the Packers don't let players walk they think are good. You know what I mean? Like they don't let those guys.
It's what you said with Tyron Smith 2 years ago.
Yeah, like the Cowboys let this guy go, and I'm like, seems weird. Like I don't know, like doesn't seem like a guy like, oh, franchise tackle. Like why would they just let him go? And it's like, they don't like, no, they probably know something in that building. Like if I know he was an All Pros last year in Dallas, but maybe they saw like it's the Clippers just this last year with with Paul George, right? Oh my God, how can they let him go? And I was like, the entire time I was just kind of like, I don't know, man. Like if they're letting him go and they're happy to let him go, seems weird. They know this guy more than any. Like they know this guy well, and if they're letting him, and then like this is not the Giants letting go of Xavier McKinney, right? Where it's like this is not an organization that deserves the benefit of the doubt. No, this is a good organization. This is a good organization. You know, letting a guy go, like
winning organization, right? Like all that stuff,
right? And so the Jair Alexander thing, I didn't like when they signed him. I was just like, okay, like I've watched Jair Alexander. Like I watched Jair Alexander 3 years ago. He was awesome. Watched Jair Alexander last year, and I was like, okay, yeah, okay, that's a he's a player in the NFL. That is a thing that he is
on the field.
Yeah, he's on the field. He plays cornerback and everything.
Has the pads on.
Yeah, but I mean, this is like look, I'm not writing them off. I'm not writing them off because I still think the offensive talent they have is real. But there's a few things that are very concerning to me on top of just like the defense itself just being horrifically bad. By the way, they've given up 41 to the Bills. They've given up 38 to the Lions. They've given up 37 now to the Chiefs. Like all in regulation. These are all regulation games. Not good. Not good. And they've lost in different ways. They got blitzed in the air by the Bills and the Chiefs. They got absolutely manhandled by the Lions in the run game. Very concerning. Like, does Justin Madubuike help? Absolutely. Obviously, he helps. He's a really good player. Does he fix? Like, is he the sole thing that's stopping this defense from being great? I mean, what you're saying at that point is he's basically like a top 3 or 5 defensive player in the league. I don't think anybody believes that he's in that level of player as good as he is.
He's not even a top 3 tech.
Right. Yeah. I just don't think that's reality. So that's it. So like the defense is very concerning. I'll just say this. I think Kyle Hamilton is the most overrated player in the NFL. I think he's literally the most overrated player in the NFL. He's getting paid. He just got an extension that basically doubled up like safeties in the league. Like he got paid double what the next highest paid safety is getting in terms of guaranteed money, if I remember correctly. Just like I'm sorry for that money. I need you to be Ed Reed. I need you to be Troy Polamalu. I need you to be Brian Dawkins. I need you to be one of these all-time safeties that we think about. Like one of those guys. I was looking this up today. He's in his 4th year in the league, right? How many interceptions do you think this guy has in his career?
2?
5. And 4 were in 1 year. So outside of 1 year, in the other 2 and now counting 3, he has 1 interception. Like, this is not a game-changing player. I'm sorry. Like, you cannot just justify that by being like, well, teams don't throw in his area, man. You're a safety.
No, you cover the field.
Yeah, and you're supposed to, like, read shit and diagnose things and get ahead of things. Like, I'm sorry. Like, I don't think Jordan Poyer was, like, some all-time safety. I will take Jordan Poyer's best season over Kyle Hamilton's best season. I will do that. And that's not because I think Jordan Poyer is a Hall of Famer. It's because I think, like, Kyle Hamilton's a little bit overrated. I think he's overrated because his measurables are fantastic, because he has size that you, like, dream about at that position, and he has the athletic tools that you dream about at that position. But, like, that
size, huh?
But that position is about more, like, safety to me. Like, there's positions like this, right, where it's like tools are great, whatever, but, like, your mental kind of reading and all that stuff has to matter more. Like, what made Ed Reed amazing isn't just that he had fantastic physical tools. It's that he tied that with amazing reading of the game and, like, being able to bait throws and all that type of shit.
Like, you listen to him and like him and Peyton Manning talking about, like, playing against each other, and it's like this, like,
I mean, Bill Belichick probably would fucking trade Tom Brady for Ed Reed if he had a chance.
Yeah, hell yeah. and it's like, it's not about being a step ahead with them. It was like you had to be 3 steps ahead because you knew the counterpunch was coming before it even got there.
Yeah, and it's like, like, whatever. I'm not saying, like, Kyle Hamilton's bad. He's a really good player. He's a really good player. But is he, like, amazing? Is he great? Is he the type of player that elevates your defense to being elite? Clearly not. And I think a lot of the juice he got is from, look, if you remember last year, that Ravens defense through, like, 10 weeks was really bad. Like, they were graded out, like, terribly. And then their final 6 or 7 weeks, they had a pretty soft schedule, and they ate on that. I mean, they destroyed those teams on the stretch of the season, but they're playing weaker teams. And he benefited from that. And I think the reputation of their defense benefited from that.
Yeah.
But, like, look, they played the Bills in the playoffs. I saw it. We ran over them when we needed to. Like, when we needed to get yards, we ran over them. They're weak in that sense. The defense is a problem, but the offense to me is actually a problem too. Like, they are so addicted almost to, like, hunting explosives. And that sounds stupid because it's like,
no, but that's how it was, right? Like, with the Bills for a little bit, right? And that's how it was with the Chiefs for a little bit too, right?
Yeah, and it's like you watch them this year. I mean, you watch them today, right? You're playing a Spags defense, right? Spags probably had these guys all week, and he's like, listen, we are playing cover 2. We are not giving up anything over the top. We are not giving up explosives. Make them earn it. Make them work down the field. Their scripted drive was great. Todd Monken's scripted drives, always great. It was great today. Great scripted drive. What did they do after that scripted drive? Nothing. They were terrible. They were awful. And
it was what, field goals?
Yeah, they got a pity touchdown at the.
That's like, I'm not counting that. That's why I said 2 field goals. I'm not counting that.
2 field goals. And so, like, that's a problem. And look, I think I'm probably the Bills fan of the world that thinks, like, the most of Lamar Jackson. Like, I'm a pretty big fan of Lamar Jackson. This guy would rather take 17 sacks than throw an incomplete pass. He'd rather take 17 sacks than an incomplete pass. I thought he was terrible today. I thought he was fucking garbage. Like, you cannot watch that game. You can't watch that game today and come away thinking Mahomes and Lamar are on the same level. I'm sorry. No. Like it's not close. Like, and that's not even an insult to Lamar because Mahomes is amazing, but, like, if you're gonna put him in that conversation, if you're gonna put any of these guys in that conversation, I said this about Josh Allen too. You gotta fucking match the level, and you gotta get over the top. And like, I'm sorry, what Lamar put on the field today, what he produced today was terrible. And look, football players are 7,000 billion fucking times tougher than I will ever be in any walk of life. Do I think that if it was a one-score game, Lamar's hamstring would have bothered him enough to get off the field?
Hell fucking no.
I thought that was a very, and I thought Harbaugh's quote after the game where he basically was like,
Yeah.
it's not something that's going to keep him out for a couple of weeks. Like, you got to, like, I thought that was kind of telling. I almost wonder if they just have more shit going on there internally that is like, it almost feels like maybe we're gonna have to wait till the end of the season to get some kind of like
the fucking insider article.
The deep dive on The Athletic that's like 7,000 words or something. I thought they were a joke today. Like, to come out in that game against that team, specifically that team, like, this is a measuring stick game, right? You're in the AFC. You're supposed to be a contender. You're playing the standard. There's like the Chiefs are the standard. They're the standard. You're playing that team. To come out and that's what it looks like. I mean, these guys made fucking Kelsey look like he was 25. It was crazy. Like, I thought it was crazy. I thought it was. I mean, I can't actually get over how bad they were today, because I thought they were rightfully favored in that game. They were 2.5-point favorites in that game. I thought that was.
Are you kidding me? I thought it should have been more.
Well, it's like you're on the road, right? So it's like, all right. So
I didn't even care about that.
But it's like, but that's the point. It's like to me, 2.5 points. I'm like, that's fine. Like, they should be favored. They are favored. They have more talent. They have more talent. And to come out and that's what it looks like. And they had Likely back today. Like, that's what it looks like today. I don't know. Like, I'm not writing them off. I don't think they're like done and they're finished and whatever. I've seen way too many turnaround stories in football over the course of my unfortunately too long of a life now.
Well, you want to go?
No, I'm just old. But like, for that to be what it looked like today, I mean I think that's as embarrassing as it could get. And if I were a Ravens fan, I would just be. I mean, I think for no matter what they do, Zach Orr, he's got to be out, man. That guy. Whatever I say about Kyle Hamilton, what I will say is this: I think if Kyle Hamilton, if you just put him in the Bills defense right now, I guarantee you he looks 1,000 times better. I guarantee it, because I know that Sean McDermott whatever your issues might be with Sean McDermott. I have a lot of issues with Sean McDermott. That man can coach up safeties. I guarantee you you give Sean McDermott Kyle Hamilton, that guy will look like totally he'll look way better than he's looked through 4 games this year. But for this to be the product you're putting out there, somebody's head's got to roll, because you've got to get some urgency in there. Like, that's what was crazy to me about that game today. It was like the Chiefs came out and they played like this game is the launching point for our season. This is we have to win this game. We've got to do this, and we've got to get our season going. And they played like that, and they dominated. They were fantastic today. The Ravens came out, and it was just like, after the scripted drive, it was just like, okay, like, we're out here just doing our thing, and like, we're going to run our stuff and do what we do. And it's like, well, what you do sucks right now. Have you considered that? Like, have you considered what you do sucks? These guys they had like multiple 3rd and 1, 4th and 1 situations. Derrick Henry's not on the field. What are we doing here? You don't have, like, I understand Derrick Henry's had his little fumble problems. Give me a break, dude. 3rd and 1, 4th and 1? You don't have Derrick Henry on the field? Get the fuck out of my face. Like, that's a joke.
You know what the funny part of that is? When some of these like insider and reporter accounts tweet stuff, a lot of the times it's like, yeah, dude, like, whatever. Or it's like, okay, does this really matter? Sometimes it's also like, okay, you probably got told to say that. But you had Ari Mayrov tweeting, Derrick Henry is again not out here on 3rd and 1 and 4th and 1. I don't know what's going on. Seems dumb.
That's got to be coming from somewhere in the building. Somebody in that building is telling him to tweet that shit.
Yeah, that's my point. It's like, I don't know if that's an agent thing or if that is like a somebody on the offensive staff who's kind of renegading on like whatever Monken's doing. But just as we've talked about the defense and how they have all their kind of stuff going on where they're figuring out like maybe it's a scheme thing or if it's like a whatever, they since week 1 have not been able to run the ball from with like the traditional.
It's literally just explosives. Like that's my. It's like this is crazy.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
why are you as a team? And like whatever, dude. Like you got Ravens fans like, oh well, Daniel Falele sucks, and this guy. I'm like, you have Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson. Shut the fuck up. I do not want to hear about your offense. Like you have at least 2 good offensive linemen, right? You have at least 2 good offensive linemen.
Well, you have Ronnie Stanley and you have Tyler Linderbaum. Like that's more than most teams can say.
Yeah, like so just run to the left every time. It's fine. You'll get over. Like you'll be fine. And it's like, why can you not construct drives? Like they can't construct drives. Everything like it's all just like we have to get 30 yards here and 20 yards here and then 15 yards there and that's our touchdown drive. It's like you can't put together like an 8-play drive. You can't put together like 10, 12-play drive. Like you can't do these things unless it's script. Script is fine. Once you get outside of the script, you can't do that. That's a problem. That's a really big problem. And I don't know, something is off there, man. Something is very, very off with that team internally. If this is like what we're seeing, and I just don't like some of the dynamics. Like we talked about this last week. We're like, okay, like Derrick Henry fumbles right at the end of that game or whatever against the Lions. He goes to the sideline and he has like a fucking
conniption.
Yeah, it's like a 15-minute thing. I'm like, bro, the game, like it's because they held him to a field goal on that drive, right? So they get the fumble or the Lions force the fumble at 20. If they're up 28-24, and it's like inside the 20, where the hell it is. The Ravens defense actually holds them to a field goal. So it's 31-24. It's a one-possession game. Why are you fucking losing your mind right now? The game is still there. It is right there within your grasp to win it. I didn't like, and I said this then too. Like, we were talking about it during the game in the Discord where I was like, I thought Lamar Jackson's like body language during that game was very weird. He was so pissed constantly at the sideline, like begging for calls to come in early. So I just wonder if I think there's some type of disconnect between the players, and whatever, and like the coaching staff. Something is wrong there. It doesn't feel right. Do I think they can turn it around? And like, I still fully expect them to win to make the playoffs, at least win the division. Like I would still bet they win the division, but now they've opened the door, obviously with the Steelers going 3-1 today. They've opened the door where it's like, look, man, if Tomlin gets his like standard split against the Ravens, it gets into like some win
situation. Yeah,
it's not like they don't have a huge margin of error if they want to win the division. The playoffs, I still think they make the playoffs. Their schedule lightens up here. I think they're gonna feast on some of these, some of these teams they face coming up. But like, I don't know. I came away from today's game being like as a Bills fan, I was kind of like encouraged by how ass they were. But like as just a observer of football, I came away from that game being like immensely disappointed by what the Ravens put out on the field.
So let me go a little bit under the hood with some of these Lamar Jackson passing touchdowns. Zay Flowers, that touchdown week 1, screen pass that got housed off of a couple broken tackles. DeAndre Hopkins, 2 jump balls where he makes a great catch. His total line on the season is 5 for 112 and 2 touchdowns. On those 5 catches, only 2 yards are after the catch. Then Mark Andrews had 2 touchdown catches. 1 was in garbage time.
Yeah.
We have.
By the way, I have no idea what the hell the Lions were in coverage on that play. That was ridiculous.
Yeah, and the same thing goes with the Rashad Bateman touchdown before halftime. Like that was he ran a whip route at the 1, and you let him go. There was nobody to pass him off to. This was not like some very obvious zone thing that got messed up. It was like, all right, he's just open. Congrats Lamar and congrats Baltimore. Then we have a jump ball to Devontae Walker that got caught and a blowout against the Browns. We have a jump ball to Tylan Wallace that got caught and a blowout against the Browns. And then where is the clutch time passing touchdowns? They're not here. Like, what is where are the 15
just go to the Bill. Just go to the Bills game. Go to the Bills game. They're up 40-25 in the fourth quarter. Bills punt. Okay, so you have the ball. You have been fucking destroying the like. You've just been getting whatever you want at will on this Bills defense all game leading up to that. They go 3 and out. Okay, 3 and out. Fine. You punt it. Bills score. Fine. Whatever. Next drive. That's the, that's the Oliver strips Henry. Whatever. Okay, fine. 40-38. You still had the game in your hands. All you got to do is get one first down. They get one first down, the game is over. It's done. They come out they run that telegraph. It was like a run off the left to Henry. That gets stuffed for like a yard or whatever. Then they run that bullshit ass fucking play to Zay Flowers. It was like an end around to Zay Flowers, which like he's like running towards the sideline. He's like, I can't go out of bounds, so he just kind of like dies, like on the right hash and like just goes down. And then they basically run like sticks routes. They ran like the crosser, which they completed, but that's 3 yards short of the sticks, and the Bills rally and just immediately tackle him. But everything else was to the sticks, and it's like, I don't know. Like I don't know. There are structural things there that I think can be better, but I also think it's fair to just be like, hey, like I think Lamar has not been I don't think he's been nearly as good as the numbers look this year. And that's not me being like, even close. Yeah, and that's not me being like Lamar. Like I think Lamar is a top 3 quarterback, top 4, whatever you want to. We can like parse that out however you want to put it. I think he's in that level, but like his play to me this year through 4 games has not been at the level that like we know he's capable of. And like I don't know that we need to sugarcoat that or deny it or pretend like it's not. They like if you believe in the guy's talent, then hold him to that standard, and it's just not been good enough to me.
The 158 passer rating stuff, like flush it. Like you got to flush it.
Yeah, I think he had a better passer rating against the Lions than Goff did. You took 7 sacks. And go watch some of those sacks. They're not like quick pressure right up the middle or a quick pressure right off the edge or something. These are sacks where he's like holding the ball for 5 seconds and he's backpedaling and he's trying to dance. It's like, just, you got to make a decision. Either go, because you can. You're fucking Lamar Jackson. You're, like maybe the best running quarterback ever. So if you don't see something you like, then to fucking go. Or you got to make some tight window throws. And you talked about the DeAndre Hopkins things. I think it's easier to make tight window throws down the field because that's kind of like the nature of deep passes in some ways, right? Where it's like tighter windows and whatever. I don't know how to fully kind of frame it the right way, but where are the tight window throws in the middle of the field? Where are the tight window throws on 3rd and 6? When you got to get a first down, where are those throws? And I have not seen them at all from Lamar this year.
Where there's like a little bit more traffic, right? Because deep down the field, it's usually one-on-one thing. A little more traffic, a little bit more, I guess, high risk because a little bit of an inaccurate ball, right? Ball could get tipped up, could be a pick, right? That type of thing. They act. Or I think they coach in a way where they think their shit don't stink. Like that's the vibe that it gives me.
I think they believe all the like most talented roster in the league. Like they buy into that almost, and they're a very front running team. It's probably the best way. Like when shit is good, shit's really good with them. Like they are a fucking train, right? They're a freight train. Once shit gets a little bit, uncomfortable, they're just not a trustworthy team. They're not trustworthy. That's the best way I can put it. They're not trustworthy, and that I don't know. Like again, like I don't think sometimes teams can just figure this out and it light goes off and they're fine. Like I think they have enough talent in that building. I picked them to win the Super Bowl this year. I picked them to win the AFC. I think they have more than enough talent for that to still be a potential outcome for them. But the issues that they have right now are not about their talent. Like it's not about do you have a talented 53-man roster? We know they do. The questions they have is like, okay, how is this getting utilized? And I don't know. For me, it's like the more I watch them this year, I'm just like something is just wrong. Something is wrong. Like I don't know how to put it. Like I watched the Bills played today, right? They played the fucking Saints and it was a 31-19 game and it was kind of a disgusting game and it was an uncomfortable game. It wasn't smooth. It was not smooth sailing. But like ultimately they scored 31 points and won by 12. Like they won by double digits. Like they took care of business the way they should take care of business. And yeah, you can tell me that the schedule has lightened up for the Bills. Of course it has, right? You play the Jets, you play the Dolphins, you play the fucking Saints, like, and it is a great time in the regular season, preseason, as I like to call the first 4 weeks of the season, to play those teams and have that luxury. But like, I just again, like whatever my issues are with Sean McDermott, I refuse to believe, and because I have never seen it, that such a talented defense would suck this much the way the Ravens have this year for this extended period of time. Like, have I seen the Bills defense completely shit the bed? Yeah, of course. I mean, unfortunately, I've seen it even in 13 seconds.
When is it? What usually?
Usually it happens when we play the fucking Broncos in the playoffs. But like,
oh yeah.
But to just like, I don't know, it just where is the leadership on the team coming from? And I want to be like really fair here to Lamar. I don't think it needs to just be like, look, John Harbaugh. I know this guy won a fucking Super Bowl back in 2013 or whatever the hell it is.
Oh, how about Derrick Henry? Yeah. With that shit.
Any of these guys, like, but it's like John Harbaugh, you won a Super Bowl in 2013. Like, it's 2025. Like, are we allowed to be critical of this guy and like seriously question like, hey, like, I mean, look, whatever this year's team is, we'll see what it is. I think me and you both agree on this. I think a lot of people agree on this. They have had the most talented roster in football the previous 2 seasons. The last 2 seasons before this year, I think they've had the most talented team in football.
And over the Eagles last year?
Okay, fine. But that's my point. It's like, okay, fine, we can debate that. Maybe the Eagles are more talented. Okay. But in 2023, they're like they lost a game to the Chiefs. They should have never lost. Your defense held this fucking guy, this fucking Satan.
Satanic
17 points.
Yeah.
Yeah. You lose 17 points, you lose the game. And I don't know, like it's just you get so many of these inexplicable losses with this team. And for a team that's so talented, it just feels like something is wrong there. Something is off. And I don't know. We probably don't need to talk too much more about the Ravens. But yeah, I came away from that game today just being like, so that's a game that that's supposed to be a game that we're sitting there until like the very end, glued to our seats. And that shit was over. That shit was over like midway through the third quarter. I mean, I changed the channel. I put on fucking Jags Niners after that. I was like, yeah.
Oh, good segue. Yeah. Last thing I wanna bring up. Did you catch all of the Liam Cohen, Rob Saleh happenings?
I did.
All of it?
I saw him say, "Keep my name out of your mouth."
Yeah. Okay. Wait. I
Cohen.
want to say the full thing. So these guys are coming to the fucking 50, like the logo, whatever, and Liam Cohen goes to shake his fucking hand, and he says, "Keep my name out of your fucking mouth." while he's, it's like, okay, you're gonna try to fucking shake his hand, and then Salah says to him, "I'll fuck your world up. You don't want to fuck with me. I will end your fucking goddamn life."
I'm not gonna lie, Bob Saleh, defensive coordinator, legit.
Very few, right? Like very few who like can measure up to that. Very few. That guy is fucking really good.
Yeah, he's very. I mean, look at the Jets' defensive fall off since he got axed. I think speaks to that. Whatever his shortcomings were as a head coach.
Oh, Aaron Glenn didn't cure cancer.
We will talk about that after Monday Night Football tomorrow.
All right, fair point. Yeah, thank you, Rob Saleh, for entertaining me. Thank you, Jaxson Dart, for entertaining me. Brian Dable, fuck yourself. I think that wraps things up. Just about. Any parting words?
No, but good job by the Seahawks to not keep Geno Smith.
Oh, Jesus Christ! Talk about a good organization letting guys walk when they know they're cooked. Right, it goes to show you. Yep. 2 hours. I hope everybody enjoyed. I hope maybe you listen to the rest of this on your car ride or whatever tomorrow morning. Monday morning, Victory Monday, as it officially is 1:36 a.m. We're gonna get out of here. Good night, everybody. Thank you, Schwinn, for giving me the guy who drafted Jaxson Dart. Appreciate it. And good night.